Welcome to the WorldWire Update. Don't forget to subscribe and click the bell icon for more updates and thrilling short scenes. The Supreme Court is the final authority on U.S. law, shaping the lives of Americans for generations. With 9 justices appointed for life, the court interprets the Constitution and resolves major legal disputes. Its decisions can confirm or limit presidential power, change business rules, and protect individual rights. As a check on the President and Congress, the court ensures no branch exceeds its constitutional limits. In recent years, the court has been at the center of heated political debates, with its impartiality under scrutiny. A recent poll shows many Americans worry the court might hesitate to rule against former President Trump, fearing he may not comply. This term, the court faces cases that directly test the limits of presidential power under Trump. The first major decision, on the legality of his tariffs, has just been handed down. This ruling not only resolves a years-long economic battle, but also sets a precedent for future presidents. The Supreme Court's role as the ultimate arbiter is more vital than ever. Its decisions will shape the balance of power for years to come. A tariff is a tax on imported goods, making foreign products more expensive and encouraging domestic purchases. Donald Trump made tariffs central to his America First agenda, arguing they would protect U.S. industries and jobs. He used tariffs as both economic tools and negotiating levers, aiming to rewrite trade deals and pressure countries like China. The Trump administration invoked the International Emergency Economic Powers Act, IEEPA, a 1977 law meant for targeted sanctions to justify sweeping tariffs. Trump argued that unfair trade practices were a national emergency, a major departure from previous presidents' use of the law. Legal challenges mounted as the administration also relied on Section 232 of the Trade Expansion Act, allowing tariffs for national security. Using this, tariffs were placed on steel and aluminum, even from allies, claiming a strong domestic industry was vital for defense. Most recently, new tariffs on lumber and furniture signaled continued reliance on executive authority to shape trade policy. These moves bypassed Congress, raising questions about the limits of presidential power. The aggressive use of tariffs set the stage for a major legal showdown. The outcome would determine how much economic power a president can wield alone. The stakes for American businesses and consumers were enormous. The Trump tariffs faced a massive legal challenge from 12 states and a coalition of businesses. They argued the tariffs hurt local economies, raised costs, and bypassed Congress's constitutional authority over trade and taxes. The core issue: Trump's use of IEEPA for broad global tariffs, which challengers said was never Congress's intent. They claimed the law was meant for targeted emergencies, not sweeping economic policy. A lower court agreed, ruling the president overstepped his authority. The Constitution gives Congress, not the president, the power to regulate foreign commerce and set taxes. By declaring a trade emergency, Trump created a loophole that could let any president sidestep Congress on economic issues. The challengers warned this would dangerously upset the balance of power, creating an imperial presidency. For businesses, a win meant relief from billions in tariffs. For states, it was about defending oversight. The Supreme Court now faced a fundamental question: can the president impose sweeping tariffs without a direct mandate from Congress? The answer would redefine executive power. The nation watched as the case reached the highest court. The Trump administration defended its tariffs as a lawful, necessary use of presidential power. Government lawyers argued IEEPA's broad language gave the president discretion to address foreign threats, including unfair trade. They insisted economic security is national security, and swift action was needed. Congress would be too slow. The president, they said, must have tools to negotiate and protect American interests. Critics countered that IEEPA was never meant for sweeping trade policy, only targeted emergencies. They argued Congress never gave the president authority to overhaul trade unilaterally. The challengers warned this set a dangerous precedent, letting any president bypass Congress on economic matters. Economically, they showed tariffs were paid by American importers, fueling inflation and hurting competitiveness. Businesses faced chaos and uncertainty, with disrupted supply chains and rising costs. The challengers painted a picture of unchecked executive power harming the very people tariffs were meant to protect. The Supreme Court had to weigh national security against constitutional limits. The stakes for the economy and the presidency were clear. In a landmark decision, the Supreme Court ruled against Trump's broad use of tariffs under IEEPA. The majority held that the president exceeded the authority Congress granted, drawing a clear line on executive power. The court said general trade imbalances aren't the extraordinary threat IEEPA was meant to address. The ruling invalidated many sweeping tariffs and reaffirmed Congress's primary role in trade and taxation. The majority warned that a broad reading of IEEPA would erase Congress's role, concentrating too much power in the executive. Dissenting justices argued for more deference to the president in foreign affairs, warning the decision could tie future presidents' hands. The ruling was carefully limited to IEEPA, not affecting tariffs under other laws like Section 232. The court didn't judge the wisdom of tariffs, only the source of authority to impose them. The decision reasserted constitutional checks and balances. The presidency, the court made clear, is powerful, but not above the law. The Supreme Court's decision will immediately disrupt tariff-heavy trade policy. Billions in taxes on imports could be lifted, easing costs for businesses and potentially lowering consumer prices. For industries once shielded by tariffs, the ruling is a blow. Foreign competition will intensify. The decision exposes the trade-off tariffs protect some jobs, but raise costs for others and for consumers. The court's ruling shifts power back to Congress, making it harder for presidents to act unilaterally on trade. Future presidents must now negotiate with lawmakers, slowing major economic changes. The presidency remains powerful, but within constitutional limits. Expect future administrations to rely more on national security justifications, like Section 232, for tariffs. This will spark new legal battles over what counts as national security. The fight over presidential power and trade isn't over, it's just moved to a new front. The balance of power in Washington has been recalibrated. For most Americans, the Supreme Court's decision will be felt in their wallets. With many tariffs invalidated, prices on imported goods may fall, offering relief from inflation. The ruling clarifies that major economic decisions should be made by Congress, not by a single president. This strengthens checks and balances, ensuring policies reflect broad consensus. For workers in protected industries, the decision brings uncertainty and renewed competition. For those relying on imports, it could mean more secure jobs and lower costs. The ruling doesn't pick winners or losers, but it changes the economic landscape. More importantly, it sets a precedent limiting presidential power for all future administrations. Congress's role in commerce and taxation is reaffirmed. The nation's economic path will be set by law and debate, not emergency declarations. This decision will shape American governance for years to come.